welcome to Capricorn season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and the creator of Embodied Astrology. If you enjoy my readings, make sure to order your 2025 Year Ahead Expanded Horoscope now. These 2-hour Embodied Astrology yearly forecasts for each sign go in depth with the most important transits, offering embodied suggestions for making the most of the opportunities and working skillfully with the challenges. You can order your 2025 reading by clicking the link below. If my work benefits you and you want to help me keep giving these monthly readings for free or help keep all of our offerings at EA financially accessible and sliding scale, please take a moment right now to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels. This is the #1 way you can help us grow. This season's horoscopes are intuitive offerings for each sign of the zodiac. I hope that they serve and support you in some way. Listen for your sun, moon, and rising signs. And remember that not everything is for everyone, so take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's most meaningful for you. Thanks for being here. Onto your horoscope. Hello, Aries. Welcome to Capricorn season. You might know that Capricorn is an important sibling sign for you. Capricorn and Aries are two of the signs that start the 4 seasons of the year, as they might be defined for many of us in the Northern Hemisphere, especially marking summer, autumn, winter, spring. Aries is the beginning of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, beginning of autumn in the Southern Hemisphere. This is the time of the equinox when night and day are balanced. Capricorn holds the energy of the solstice, the time of the greatest dark in the Northern Hemisphere and the greatest light in the Southern Hemisphere. The relationship between Aries and Capricorn as they are placed on the wheel of the year is a relationship called a square. That's a 90-degree angle. And so in the chart wheel, Capricorn lives right up at the top of your chart. This place, the solar 10th house, is representative of the light that is pulling you upwards. Imagine you're a little baby plant and you are planted in the soil of your life, and the light of Capricorn is drawing you up into growth. To have Capricorn at the top of your solar chart is to have a life that is full of ambition and also integrity. There is a need for Aries identified people to actualize in this life, to achieve some kind of notion of the greatness of who they can be. Now, over the course of your life, as I'm sure you know, your notions of what is great will change a million times. So you might have a particular idea as a 4-year-old about who you're going to be when you're tall, and as a 40-year-old, you might have a very different idea about how you want to be great in this life. And greatness is not just achievement. It is not just success that is validated in consensus reality and the status quo. Greatness is really, I think, about a devotion, a devotional path to the call of your spirit. It is about living in integrity with what your deepest values are and what is most important to you. And it is about not turning away because you're insecure or afraid. It's about not being avoidant of your actual power, but gathering the courage and the self-love and the fortitude to move through what is challenging in order to really be who you are and bring who you are. So Capricorn season is a period of time that is bringing light and heat into the top of your chart. This is an influence that is whispering down into the soil of your being, and it's going, grow, grow, my love, come on up, you can do it. This is also a really interesting Capricorn season because it's the first time in 16 years that the outer planet Pluto has not been residing in the tropical sign of Capricorn. And since 2008, Pluto was here bringing a lot of gravity and immensity and intensity and the need to transform in this part of your life. You might think back to 2008, depending on how old you are, consider the last 16 years and what you have been grappling with in this time, especially when it comes to who you're going to be in the world. These are issues that, again, are timeless in some ways, that have to do with you really being devotion to your own energy. These are also themes that can certainly be manifested through ideas of career and vocation and status and things like that. Because Pluto is no longer here, and Pluto has now moved into Aquarius, into a part of your chart that is actually the luckiest place in the chart. Congratulations, Aries, you win the Pluto jackpot for the next 20 years until 2044. You have the best possible place for where Pluto could be. And I will definitely talk to you a lot about that in your 2025 year ahead reading. So make sure that you tune in there. This is a 20-year transit. Because Pluto has now made that shift, I think that a lot of you are feeling like the image that I just got is that there's always been a skylight on the roof, but you didn't know because it was covered by a curtain. And now the curtain has been pulled back and you're looking up and you're like, oh my gosh, there's space up there. And you can see the sky and you can see the stars where before you saw a ceiling. And the feeling of this is that you have become aware of the limitations of what you used to feel was so important. So these last 16 years, you were working so hard. I don't know what you were doing, but you were working really hard. But the way that you were working, and maybe what you were working for, or who you were working for, or the field that you were working in, right? That there's something about what you were doing that you are now aware that there are limitations in that. There's confinement. You can't actually grow in the ways that now you want to grow. And so as we move into Capricorn season, we are headed towards a new moon on December 30th. We're also working with the influence of Capricorn's ruler Saturn squaring Jupiter during this time around the 23rd of December. And this brings a kind of like overwhelmingly, potentially confusing, but also potentially inspiring sensation of things are not the same anymore. And I think that a lot of you are experiencing a concurrent, kind of simultaneous feeling of enthusiasm and growth opportunity, as you're also feeling like maybe the ground has come out underneath you and you don't really know what you're trying to do. You know that you have an intuitive impulse to do certain things or to explore new directions or to be in different ways, but you're still in really early phases and you don't quite know yet. Is this the right path? Is this the right, vibe? Like there's something that is kind of feeling a little murky around this time. Now the murkiness is important. The unknown of it all is important because in times of confusion and unknown, we have to employ our senses and our awarenesses and our curiosities really differently. And even though it can feel really uncomfortable to be in a period of unknown, often when we look back at those times in our lives, we realize how valuable they were and how much changed, because inside of unknowns, new options present themselves. When we have a lot of certainty and when we think that we know where we're going, we have a kind of closed focus a lot of times. And sometimes that's really important to kind of put your blinders on and focus on what you're trying to do and move in that direction. And in a lot of ways, this is what Aries wants to do naturally. Your sign rules the brow and the eyes. And when you get focused, you are fucking fierce, Aries. When you have a goal, you go after it. And there's a kind of interesting vibe here where your goals are changing and you might feel energized, but also it's hard for you to figure out where to focus, which doesn't mean that you're not in motion or moving in a kind of way, but it feels a little bit like you're trying to learn to walk while you're dancing or something like that. Like you're trying to figure out how to focus while you're in motion. And this brings a lot of variability kinds of feelings. Are you going to go this way or are you going to go that way? You could do it like this or you could do it like that. So the offering that I have for you during this time, this is picking up on what I was sharing with you in Sagittarius season. The offering that I have for you at this time is this is a great time for processes of review and strategy. And I think that whatever you've been through in the last 16 years has taught you a lot. You are not coming into this next phase of your life with nothing. You're coming in with a big set of skills and learning experiences and challenges that you worked through and education that you received, either formally or informally. You have cultivated something that really needs to continue in this next phase, but it also needs to change form. And so this is a powerful kind of period of time to reflect on where you're coming from and what you're bringing with you and what you have to give, as you also reflect on where do you want to go? What's opening up in front of you? How are you being called forward next? And what is being asked from you? And so some themes about giving and receiving are coming up. You have a lot to give. You also have a lot that you need to learn and experience and support that you need to receive in order to move forward. How might you bridge the gap? Where are the exchanges and the reciprocities that will allow you to make this transition? So in the first, I'm going to say 2 weeks or so of Capricorn season, from the solstice on the 21st all the way until, let's say, through the first week of January, there is the feeling that I have is like you have a lot of energy, but the energy wants to go in a million different directions. And you don't want to squander this energy. Don't let it totally distract you and tip you off course. But also, if you get too rigid about it and if you freak out, like, I don't know where I'm going and I feel so unfocused, that is going to make it worse. So you have to learn to dance while you're walking forward. Basically, this is the metaphor. You have to be able to kind of look around and see what's there and stretch your body and do a twirl while you are also kind of intentionally tracking which direction you want to go. So this is intentionality and adaptation at the same time. I want to say one more thing about this. What I want to say is about emotions and the depth of feeling that is starting to really, I think, be a force. And especially as we get into the new year and through the first week of the year and deeper into January, there is a stronger and stronger emotional current that is pulling at everybody. And especially for you, Aries, I feel like a lot of you are going to have trouble maintaining your fire consistently. And in the language of astrology, fire is synonymous with passion and inspiration and motivation and energy to act. And because there's such a strong increasing force of water, the feeling here is that there are feelings here that make it hard for you to know how you want to move forward and make it hard for you to focus and concentrate. And if you try to mask those feelings, to compartmentalize them and just push forward, I imagine that they will take you down. That's kind of what strong feelings that need some attention do when we don't give them attention. They take us down. They make us sick. They make us preoccupied. They come out in really funky ways and initiate drama in our relationships. So at least we have an outlet to have some catharsis, to feel a thing that will maybe open the door for us to feel the actual thing. So in the first week of January, around January 5th and 6th, Mars, your ruling planet, is retrograding from Leo back into Cancer. And it will continue to be retrograde in Cancer until the end of February. And it will continue to be in Cancer until around the middle to the end of April. And this resonates for me in a way that I talked to you about in your Sagittarius season reading around the need to come home. And you have the sign Cancer exactly opposite to the sign Capricorn. And so Cancer holds the base of your chart, or the root of your chart. This is literally a symbol of home and family in the chart wheel setup. So there may be circumstances that are literally asking you to come home. You might need to attend to things that are happening in your physical home or with your actual family. There may also be other kinds of circumstances that are resonating with you around how home and family might be interpreted in a myriad of ways. And so not everybody has a home to go back to. There is a lot of housing instability. We are living through a housing crisis. Some of you might want to be moving forward in your life, but it feels impossible to move forward when you don't have stability, literally, underneath you. Living through a housing crisis, even if it's not affecting you, is probably still affecting you on a psychic or psychological level. And we are living in a time of chaos and a lot of groundlessness and a lot of loss and literally a lot of water. And so there may be fears and insecurities or considerations that are super practical that you really need to be attending to right now, because if you don't attend to them, then how are you going to move your energy forward? There may be people in your family or relationships that are really important and close to you that need your attention now in order for you to move forward later. So the balance between Cancer and Capricorn here is the balance between the home life and the personal spaces, and then the public life and the more external worldly spaces. And as Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, and as we move towards the full moon in Cancer on January 13th, these themes of needing to come home get stronger and stronger. Now, in your Sagittarius season reading, I talked to you about the energetic quality of coming home and needing to know who you are on a fundamental level. And this means coming home to your heart, coming home to your body, coming home to your actual needs. And because your ruling planet has been retrograding, and it started its retrograde in your fellow fire sign Leo, and it's been talking to Pluto in Aquarius, I'm going to say that I think a lot of you have a lot of desire right now. And your desires want to expand your life, but your desires also need to be brought to earth. There is something about the realization of them that requires practicality. And the practicality that I'm sensing right now is about your actual physical, most basic needs. And the most basic needs that human beings have include places to shelter and rest and being able to get enough sleep. They include eating and nourishment and being able to meet your bodily needs. They also include relationship and feeling that you have the relational support that you need to be alive here on a planet that is totally terrifying and confusing a good portion of the time. And even though it might feel like this could be getting in the way of how you want to move forward or how you want to grow or the plans you've been trying to make to get out there and do whatever it is that you're trying to do, I actually really want to encourage you to imagine and sense into how whatever is coming up around this time is actually totally necessary. And there is deep learning that's happening here. And there are sensitivities that are being revealed, as well as the ways to care for them that you are being led to pay attention to. There are emotional realities that really need your attention. And when you give the time and the space and the care and the tending to these circumstances and these sensations and these relationships, that is going to lead you somehow on the path of your desires and expansion and the future and what it is that you're trying to do. But it might lead you in a way that you didn't expect. And it might bring you through opportunities and challenges that you couldn't see from where you have been kind of looking out at the future, thinking about what it is that you want. But these opportunities and challenges that are letting themselves be known now and will continue to emerge over the next couple months, they have a lot of medicine in them. They have a lot of important information in them. And so, though this is a time that feels a little thwarting to the fire element, and I'm like looking at it as a double fire sign person, and also of like, oh, how am I going to take care of myself during this time? Because I think for those of us who are fire identified, sometimes the flame has to get small. Sometimes we have to tend to the hearth and figure out how to get the air that we need and how to get the containment that we need. And sometimes we actually, have to put out the fire and like clean the place or something so that we can figure out how to burn again. And that's a feeling that I have for you right now. So I hope that this reading helps you to relax inside of any kind of circumstances that might feel like there's a little bit of flux in your energy. I hope that it feels encouraging and invigorating for the ways that you are seeing the future unfold in front of you. This is super exciting. I do really just want to say 2025 and 2026 is bringing so much change, and I think really important and exciting feeling changes for Aries. And there is something also really important about this time that is asking you to feel and asking you to stay and slow down and return and be with and process. There's something here and it really needs your attention, and it will help you grow in the directions that you are being called. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, Aries. I'm wishing you all the best in Capricorn season in 2025 and beyond. Check out your 2025 reading. We're going to talk about these bigger picture arcs for sure. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening to your Capricorn season reading. If this horoscope resonated for you, please show your support by liking, following, and subscribing, and by sharing this work with your friends and community. And if you want more, don't forget to order your 2025 year ahead reading, where I go in depth with the big picture and main themes of this year for your sun, moon, and rising signs. This season, I hope you'll join me for Somatic Space, which is a class I offer every Monday where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. You can drop in once to try it out, or if you become a member, you'll also get access to the past classes video archive, as well as Tea Time, which is a monthly meetup and conversation space where we learn and share how astrology is moving through our lives. You can find more information about working with me and other Embodied Astrology events in the show notes or through the study section at embodiedastrology.com. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for listening and engaging. I truly hope to see you in an Embodied Astrology space soon. Bye for now.